section 5 now or not?
We finished. I'm going to start this session, the new session today.
Section 6. Oh, okay. So now you're going to start recording. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, today, April 11th, 2024. It's our 50th meeting, reading Urantia book with Heidi.
50, that's a big deal.
Yes, half hundreds. We keep reading paper 112, personality survival, section 6, the Morontria Self. 今天呢是我们的第50次会议与海蒂读玉书。我们继续读112篇人格的续存第6节，灵质性自我。
Okay, so we're in personality survival paper, which is the last paper by the solitary messenger in the whole book. So we have to give reverence to our solitary messenger friend and thank him for her or him for all the wonderful teachings. And this next section, the Morontria Self, should be really interesting. So this is going to be fun to read this today. And Yan, I want to just say that when I'll let you translate that, Ricky.
这个第112篇呢是单独使者写的关于思想调整者系列的最后一篇。我们就是要感谢就是单独使者给我们这么好的教导然后呢我今天呢读的第6部分呢灵质性自我非常有趣你会非常就是享受读这一篇的。然后他对燕有几句话。
And I want to say to Yan that that when we die, we don't get reincarnated as another person on earth, but we go to another world where we're not spiritual beings and we're not physical beings. We're Morontria beings, and it's an in-between phase in our eternal career. A huge part of the universe is Morontria. It's a frequency that's not physical, not spiritual, it's in between. So you're becoming spiritual. So you're not that much different than physical, and that's where we go to the Morontria world.
对。他呢因为你没有读过呢，所以刚才他听说你没读过，所以他现在就跟你说他就说我们死了之后这一期物质生命结束之后呢，我们不是又好像就是又轮回成另外的一个物质体的生命，而是我们到了另外的世界。这个世界呢不是完全灵性的，也不是完全物质的，而是在这中间的一个过渡的一个阶段，就是在我们的永恒的养生生涯当中有很大的一个部分呢是这种过渡期是我们最终是要通向完全的灵性，但是很大的部分是这种过渡期，就是半灵质半物质的这么一个过渡阶段，非常大的一部分都是这样的。
Throughout history, when human beings talk about heaven, they're almost always talking about these beautiful Morontria worlds.
对，在历史上，当人们说到天堂的时候，很大程度上就是指的这一部分的世界。
And there's many, many Morontria worlds, and you go from one to the other, and each one is a little more spiritual.
对，有很多很多这样的世界，你从一个到另外一个，你会变得更加的灵性。
Not everyone goes to the Morontria world. It's like not everyone goes to heaven. You have to have a certain amount of faith and goodwill and good intentions and to go. And then not everyone goes after 3 days. You may have to be a sleeping survivor and then go in a mass resurrection with thousands and thousands of other people at the same time. So you may go to sleep for a week, or you may go to sleep for 1,000 years. But when you're woken up, if you're a sleeping survivor, you will wake up on the Morontria worlds. And if you're lucky, if you're very a little bit good believer in God and spirit and things like that, then you go through, you wake up there 3 days after you die. And that's all I'll say, and then we'll start reading.
对，对，就是并不是每一个人都会进到这个灵智性世界，灵智性世界又称为宅下世界哈，或者就是我们以前的认为的天堂。那么你得有好的这个一个好的信仰啊，意志力啊，自由意志的选择呀，然后才能够进去的。然后你可能经过3天，或者是你那个作为那个就是休眠的续存者呢，可能经过更长的时间，然后经历一个大的集体的一个复苏，然后在这个灵智性世界复活。所以就是这个过渡期可能是一个礼拜或者是1000年啊，然后你在新的这灵智性世界上苏醒。如果你是比较幸运哈，是那种比较坚定的信仰者，那么你可能3天就可以在那儿重生了。
Okay, number 6, the Morontria Self.
第6部分是主题是灵智性自我。
Just as a butterfly emerges from the caterpillar stage, so will the true personalities of human beings emerge on the mansion worlds, for the first time revealed apart from their one-time enshroudment in the material flesh. The Morontria career in the local universe has to do with the continued elevation of the personality mechanism from the beginning Morontria level of soul existence up to the final Morontria level of progressive spirituality. It is difficult to instruct you regarding your Morontria personality forms for the local universe career. You will be endowed with Morontria patterns of personality manifestability, and there are investments which, in the last analysis, are beyond your comprehension. Such forms, while entirely real, are not energy patterns of the material order which you now understand. They do, however, serve the same purpose on the local universe worlds as do your material bodies on the planets of human nativity. And I'll read the last one. To a certain extent, the appearance of the material body form is responsive to the character of the personality identity. The physical body does, to a limited degree, reflect something of the inherent nature of the personality. Still more so does the Morontria form. In the physical life, mortals may be outwardly beautiful, though inwardly unlovely. In the Morontria life, and increasingly on its higher levels, the personality form will vary directly in accordance with the nature of the inner person. On the spiritual level, outward form and inner nature begin to approximate complete identification, which grows more and more perfect on higher and higher spirit levels. And I just want to add before you translate, so for Yan and for anyone else who might be listening, when we die and become Morontria beings and then later spiritual beings, we don't just become a little bit of mist in the sky or invisible or part of the great source and center. always stay ourselves and we always have a form, an actual body, a form. It's just different frequencies. So it goes from physical to Morontria to spiritual, but even spiritual beings, although we can't see them, they do have appearances, they have forms.
我说在读这个之前，他想强调的一点呢，就是我们在这个进化过程当中哈，虽然就是从物质体到这个灵质体，再到灵体哈，它就是我们不是说就变成了空中的雾啊，不可见的，然后我们总是会有一个形体，这个形体呢，因为它就是说。这个频率不同，所以对物质界的人有可能是不可见的。那么当我们成为灵体的时候，其实我们也是就是到了不同的那个频率，虽然好像是不可见，但实际上还是有一个形体的，就是有一个外形体的，它只是频率的关系，有可能不同频率的那个，就是不能够见到而已。它这个 form 就是指的这形体，这个形体的对频率决定它在什么样的层次。
And Ricky, I just thought of something. All these religions and new age spirituality and various religions that put forth the idea that we die and then we never have a form again. We become some kind of part of a great whole and we're no longer an individual being with an individual form. They don't explain how people see angels, you know, and have experiences where they encounter Jesus or other high beings, you know. But I mean, the fact of humans seeing angels is in most religions and goes all the way back thousands and thousands of years. If they think we die and become some kind of misty part of a great center of energy, then why would there be angels on a higher level? Do you know what I'm saying? With definite forms, but spiritual beings.
对，他就说一般的宗教啊，新时代啊什么的，也许他们的那个意识形态当中是说我们死了就好像从一个独立的个体，然后就是好像跟一个大的一个整体去融合了，就失去了那个自我性。可是那怎么解释？就是有些人在意象当中看到天使啊，甚至在意象或者梦当中看到这个耶稣了。这个事实呢，就证明呢，实际上我们死了之后呢，实际上不是变成了像雾一样的一个大的大块的一体的一个部分，我们还有我们的个体性。
Okay, who's going to translate?
Ask Shenli. Is Shenli available?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Yan has a question, but yeah, I wanna we wanna listen to what Shenli's translation on the right part, and then Yan, you can ask your question after that. 你就是先让沈丽把这3段翻译读完，然后燕你再问问题，好吗
？6. 灵质性自我，就像蝴蝶从毛毛虫阶段蜕变出来一样，人类真正的人格将在宅下世界上显露出来。首先从他们曾经被物质肉体所遮罩的状态显露出来。地方宇宙中的灵质性生涯与人格机制的持续提升有关。这种提升是从灵魂存在的起始灵质性层次，一直到渐进灵性的最终灵质性层次。关于你们地方宇宙生涯的灵质性人格形体， 很难对你们进行教导。你们将被赋予人格表现力的灵智性模式，而这些归根到底是你们无法理解的投入。这样的形体虽然完全真实，但并非你们现在所理解的物质层面的能量模式。然而，它们在地方宇宙中的作用，的确与你们的物质身体在人类原生星球上的作用是一样的。在某种程度上，物质身体形式的出现与人格身份的特征是相呼应的。物质身体在有限程度上反映了人格内在特征的一些东西，灵智性形体也是如此。在物质生命中，凡人可能外表美丽，但内心不可爱。在灵智性生命中，而且越来越多的在其更高层次上，人格形体将直接随着内在个体的特征而变化。在灵性层面上，外在形体和内在特征开始趋于完全一致，这在越来越高的灵性层面上变得越来越完美。OK， Heidi。
Okay, what's your question now?
燕，你可以问问题，我来这个翻译给艾迪听。
我是刚才在听那个艾迪在说的时候，好像我就想到了一个，就是我去年的一个经验，那个经验就是濒死的一个经验。说濒死吧，我也不知道，反正就是我那个经验就是怎么说呢，就是回到了既有个体的一种感受，但是它是一个没有物质形态，但是你说它有形态，它是有的。那个形态有点像是五颜六色的光吧，我用光来比喻，或者说颜色，它是一种活的、流动的，而且我是在其中的，而且是有一种陪伴。但是那个陪伴，直到我回到地球，就回到这具身体前，我才知道才能够有意识，是有一种陪伴的。然后就在去年3月份。OK， 是不是我说太长了？
没有，他就是那个希望我他非常想听你在说什么，所以他让我对
然后对，然后我回到地球的时候，我回来的时候，家人都以为我快不行了，因为苏醒时间比较长嘛。但是呢，我是很懊恼回来的，真的是很懊恼回来的。所以在那个意识当中，没有地球这回事，没有就是没有物质形态的这回事，在那里感觉是非常好的。
Okay,
其实他已经解答我了。
Maybe you could translate some of that.
Yes. Yan talk about kind of because you have some comments about the physical form and the form in different frequencies. So she is kind of reflecting on her near-death experience that happened last year. So when in that state, he has individual sensation, but he only has a kind of light body, colorful body. It's fluid, accompany her. So when she finally went back to her physical body, she feel very much kind of disappointed because she really enjoyed her fluid body form.
Well, I had a near-death experience also, and I also didn't have. I had a form, but it was kind of a more like a shadow form, But most people, me included, most people who have near-death experiences do not want to come back into their physical body.
对，他就回应燕说，他也有这个濒死体验过，就他的感觉就像影子一样，就是他那时候的形体像影子一样啊，就是很多的濒死体验的人，他们都是不愿意回来的，所以你也并不例外的。
At the end of this session, if Yan is still here, it would be fun if she could tell us the story of her near-death experience.
他说这次那个学习结束的时候，如果他还在的话，也可以继续讨论他的体验。
Everyone here knows that I'm pretty much obsessed with near-death experiences.
对他就说这儿的每一个人都知道，我是非常迷恋这个，对这个濒死体验这个话题是非常的迷恋的。对他以前就是他看过很多的这种的见证，所以他以前这个在跟我们读书的时候也分享过很多人的这种体验。对，所以你说的这个题目正好是他比较
I'm always talking about them.
兴趣，对他总是说很多这方面的。
And I'm always watching videos about people who have near-death experiences.
对他，但凡看到有人讲述这样濒死体验的视频，他都会看，都去听。
Usually they do have forms. I had one, but it really was kind of like a semi-form. It really wasn't much of a form, and I was just kind of floating around in a kind of shadowy form. But in Yan's case, when that happens, it's usually because it's already been determined that she's going to come back into her earth body, and she hasn't been given a Morontria form, her next body yet, or she doesn't really need one for what she's going to accomplish in that experience.
他说这个他在那种濒死体验当中就是一个影子哈，飘来飘去的。他说在你的那个体验当中，你是还是五颜六色的光体啊那样。他说这个大概就是你是真正不到那个该走的时候，所以你还没有被给予一个什么灵智体，就是肯定是要再回到物质身体的。
And many people see angels, many people see Jesus, they see God, many people see their ancestors and relatives, or even strangers on the Morontria worlds when they have near-death experiences. But some people also see other beings as just lights. They see them as lights, but they know they're actually beings of some kind. So it's pretty much runs the gamut.
对，有的人看到天使啊，看到神啦，遇到祖先啦，或者亲戚啊，已经过渡的亲戚啦，或者是陌生人呢，也会看到其他的存有，比如说纯粹以光的形式的存有。
The Urantia book doesn't talk about near-death experiences, but this study group does.
月亮下之书没有，就是提什么濒死体验，但是这个他说这个小组讨论过很多。
But you can rest assured that when you're born on the Morontria world, you will definitely be given a body, and that's what we're reading about now.
你大可放心，就是在下一期生命，你是会给予一个身体的，这就是这一节要读的内容。
in the section we just read, it says it has very interesting ways of describing our Morontria and spiritual bodies.
对，他当提到灵智性身体和灵体的时候，就是有一些很有趣的描述。
It says things like, you will be endowed with Morontria patterns of it says in one case it calls it Morontria patterns of personality manifestability, and these are investments which are beyond your comprehension. And in other words, it's describing a form more as like your personality made manifest.
这个灵智体就是你的人格的彰显，人格的显化啊，对，是被赋予这样的一个人格的显化的形式。
And in this section we just read, it says, as you get more spiritual, as you progress up the spiritual food chain, your appearance reflects your personality more and more until finally they're pretty much that you look exactly like who you are. You don't start off that way. You get much closer on the Morontria world than you are on the physical world.
对，它就是在你变得越来越灵性的这个旅程当中哈，这个进化链条当中，你的外表的形貌会越来越反映你的人格的本质，就反映你实际的所是。
It says here in the section we just read, some people on this earth are very beautiful in physical appearance, but they're not so lovely inside.
对，像第3段嘛，中间那个部分就说，在现在我们这凡人生命当中哈，有一些人外表美丽，但是内心不可爱。
And of course, the opposite is also true, where someone can be beautiful inside and really pretty ugly on the outside, or not so beautiful.
当然也相反的也是成立的，有些人内心是非常美的，但是呢，外表却没那么漂亮。
Many of us have had the experience where we saw someone and we thought they were incredibly handsome or beautiful, and then after we got to know them, they didn't look so handsome or so beautiful to us anymore.
对，我们都有这种经验，我们看到一个人，有可能觉得他非常英俊美丽，但是跟他越来越接触之后，就发现他没有那么英俊和美丽。
The opposite is true. We see someone and we don't think they're very good looking, and we get to know them, and they become the most attractive person in the world.
对，那也相反也是成立的。我们往往看一个人，其实打眼儿不那么好看，但是越来越了解他，发现他非常的有吸引力。
But on the first Morontria world, they create your form to try to reflect much more who you actually are.
对。但是呢，你看，在这个灵智世界呢，实际上它要给你造的这个形态哈，这个外貌呢，是尽量要反映你的所是。
And then we just read, it says, and I just said also, as we progress, your outer form represents more perfectly and more accurately who you are, who your personality is. It reflects who you are inside, your inner beauty, it's not just beauty, it's also uniqueness, more and more as you get more spiritual. We'll just say it again because it's so interesting.
对，随着你在就是这个灵性进化过程当中呢，你就会越外表哈或者形态越来越完美的表达你内在的所是，就是表达你内在的美和那个独特性。
Imagine if we had no names, no voices, and no physical appearance. Let's say we were in a chat room together. We could express ourselves. We could try to discern the different personalities by what they were saying, but Ricky would just be ... Heidi would be ... Shenli would be ... Yan would be Anne would be ... and it would be much harder for us to get to know each other, even though we were each expressing ourselves. We were individuals. So we're given a name, we're given a form. If we're online, we pick a little picture to represent us, and that helps us get to know each other more easily.
这外表的这个，你看，如果在一个屋子当中哈，我们都没有名字啊，也没有声音啊，也没有外形，就是没有一个形态形状，那么我们是很难区分彼此的啊。所以呢，你在这个物质界呢，我们就是想要了解每个人呢，我们就是给每个人名字啊，每个人的形态啊都不同啊，这样大家可以彼此能够了解对方，认识对方。
我突然有个问题，想到一个挺有趣的一点，就是它越到灵智性、灵性，它这个形体就跟着心灵就匹配了。那么就是越好看的人，大家就知道他这个人好，就一目了然。
The Shenli's question is that if in Urantia world, the appearance matches the inside quality. If someone looks pretty, and then everyone knows that he is more advanced, isn't this causing any problem?
Oh, in the Morontria world?
Well,
first of all, it starts off. Actually, I'm glad she asked that because I forgot to say something I was thinking, which is as you evolve, you get more beautiful. You become more spiritual. So the spiritual beings are probably much, much more beautiful than the Morontria beings in many ways. But, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Do you have that expression in Chinese? Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Hold on，我要到客厅那里听一听，这就是有点什么声音，我要去看一下，大家hold一下。
Do you have that expression? It's so famous here.
Shenli，你可不可以先翻一下？ Yeah. Hold on, Heidi. I'm going to go to the living room a little bit.
I cannot remember that we have this expression in Chinese.
Okay.
就是海蒂是说let me translate a little bit.
Yeah, it's a very famous expression in English, and it's a really good one. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah，就是类似那种情人眼里出西施的那个表达。对。We do have.
So, in other words, it's not just that you get more beautiful, it's that you get more true to yourself. So in one way, everyone is beautiful. Maybe your spirit, maybe no spirit is more beautiful than another spirit. So it's not like there's ugly people on the Morontria world. If you get to the Morontria world, you're automatically beautiful. So everyone is beautiful, but you look just more like who you are. That's the difference. It's not like someone is gorgeous and someone is ugly, because God doesn't look at us that way.
Yeah， 就是那个我们要学习哈，用神的眼光来看我们自己。如果你能够进化到灵智性世界，每个人都是美丽的。那么他这段的意思只是说你的外表更能反映你的所是，就是那个反映你的就是更准确，就是内外的一致，并且就是那个时候大家评判彼此也不是说那个不可能就是说非常丑的人那个显现在那个灵智性世界，那个在那个世界都是美的，大家只是不同，并且大家都是用一种 那个就是上帝的眼光、上帝的视角来看每一个人，不会说有这种升起这种评判心啊，你比我美，我比你丑的。
And it's not just like when people describe angels, they don't usually say, oh, they were so beautiful, but they usually say like they had amazing hair or they had piercing blue eyes, or they have such a powerful spiritual frequency, that and they're so loving, and such love comes out of their eyes. It's not just beauty.
对。那当就是那些人报告看到天使的时候，那么他们一般不会说啊这天使很美，而是说这个就会说这个天使他比如说他的头发哈发光的，或者是他的眼睛对那种很有穿透力的，就是有爱从他的眼睛里放射出来，就是会用这样的就是一些的那个去描述它，因为这个对这个美丽这个都不足以就是表达这个所示。
When I think of the ancients of days, okay, not everyone remembers who they are. Yan certainly doesn't know who they are. Probably they're three beings who are the highest, most powerful rulers in the entire super universe. And there's only 7 super universes. So there's only 21 ancients of these beings called the ancients of days. There's only 21 in all of the master universe. So they're very high beings. I'm going to talk about how they must look.
那个他就提到那个亘古常在者哈，亘古常在者在我们的超级宇宙当中只有3位，那个是相当于我们超级宇宙的最高统治者啊。那么7个超级宇宙呢，一共只有21位。那燕有可能不了解这一部分。
The Urantia book never really tells us how these beings look.
对，那个《玉然下之书》几乎从来都不会去描述这些的存有他们长什么样。
But I imagine if you ran into one of the ancients of days, you would stop in your tracks. You would be really awed by the nobility and wisdom and power that they emit. That's what I imagine.
他就是想象，如果我们有机缘能够看到他们，那么我们就会被他们那种高贵啊，就那种的放射出这种的能力，这种的 power 所震慑。
And I imagine that each one looks a little different because they're individuals, that they don't all look exactly alike. But I imagine that if you saw one, you would go, that's an ancient of days.
但是他认为有可能他们3个还是长得不太一样的，因为每个都有他的个体性。
And when people describe Jesus, some people do describe how beautiful he is, but usually they're just overwhelmed with the love that he pours out towards them.
对，有见到过耶稣的，往往他们所要印象深刻的不是他有多美，而是都被他的所散发出的爱，泼洒出的爱所震慑。
When I had a dream that I saw Jesus and I was with Jesus in a dream that seemed very, very real to me, I was struck by how incredibly handsome he was, but mostly it was his eyes. He had such a sparkle and a laughter and a intense perceptiveness in his eyes.
对，他在梦里边见到耶稣的时候，被他那个 当然被他的英俊所震撼，但是就尤其是他的眼睛，发光的眼睛，然后就是非常的强烈的，就是那个既有喜悦又非常的好像理解你所有的，就是那种具有理解力的，就这种目光所震慑。
So they say here, in this section, in section 1112.6.2, they say such forms, while entirely real, are not energy patterns of the material order that you understand. But when they say something is real, they're telling us that on the Morontria world, your forms are just as real to you there as our physical forms are to us here. That's what they're saying.
112.6.2中间那个部分呢，就是这个灵智性模式哈，这样的形体，虽然完全真实，就是它是完全存在的，但是呢，不能够用我们现在所理解的物质层面的能量模式，就是去理解，没有办法完全理解。
Why doesn't Shenli read the next 3 paragraphs? Because I have to take a break for 2 minutes.
OK， 他要那个要
接下去读是吗？
接下去读几段，对。
好的。
是。
在灵智性状态中，扬升中的凡人被赋予宇宙心智的内巴顿修改版本。这个内巴顿版本是奥温顿主谓之灵所赋予的。凡人智力已经消亡，已经不再作为一个集中的宇宙实体存在于创造之灵的未分化心智回路之外。但是凡人心智的意义和价值并没有消亡，心智的某些方面在续存灵魂中得以延续。前世人类心智的某些经验价值有调整者保留，在地方宇宙中留存着人类生命在肉身生活中的记录，同时也留存着众多存有中的鲜活记录。这些存有与扬升凡人的最终评估有关，他们的范围从炽天使到万有监察者，甚至还可能涵盖至高者。没有心智，受造物的意志无法存在，但它的确在失去物质智力的情况下持续存在。在紧接着的续存时间里，扬升人格在很大程度上受到从人类生命所继承的特质模式以及新出现的灵智性心智的行为的引导。在灵智性生活的早期阶段，在作为扬升人格成熟意志表达的灵智性意志出现之前，这些对于第三宅下世界行为的指引发挥着可接受的作用。地方宇宙生涯中没有任何可与人类存在的七种辅助心智之灵相比拟的影响力。灵智性心智必须通过与宇宙心智的直接接触而进化，因为这些宇宙心智已经被地方宇宙智力的创造源神圣执事进行了修改和转化。在死亡之前，凡人心智在自我意识上独立于调整者的存在，辅助心智只需要相关联的物质能量模式即可使其运作。但灵智性灵魂是超辅助的，当它失去了物质心智机制，若没有调整者，它就无法保持自我意识。然而，这个进化中的灵魂确实拥有一种连续的特质，这种特质源自其前世关联辅助心智的决定。当这种特质的模式通过回归的调整者得以充能时，这种特质就会成为活跃的记忆。 记忆的留存是保留原始自我身份的证明，它对于人格连续和扩展的完整自我意识至关重要。对于在没有调整者参与的情况下扬升的凡人，他重构人类记忆要依赖于炽天使伙伴的指导，否则与圣灵融合的凡人的灵智性灵魂就不受限制。记忆模式在灵魂中持续存在，但这个模式需要前世调整者参与，才能立即自我体现为连续性的记忆。如果没有调整者参与，凡人续存者需要相当长的时间来重新探索、重新学习、重新捕捉对一个前世存在的意义和价值的记忆意识。
你先停一下，
先
停一下，看看海蒂回来了没有？海蒂
Yeah, I'm here.
，OK。
Except that my hand is sticky, so hold on, I have to wash my hand.
Yeah,
到6:08。
we read 4. Yeah, we read 4 paragraphs.
Okay, I'm coming. All right. So, right here. Okay, so I'm gonna, in the Morontria estate, the ascending mortal is endowed with the Nebadon modification of the cosmic mind endowment of the master spirit of Orvantan. Now, this is interesting. Okay, that's the kind of mind that we have on the Morontria world. Okay, I'm going to read that again. In the Morontria state, the ascending mortal is endowed with the Nebadon. That's our local universe. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not translating it, so forget it. That with the Nebadon modification of the cosmic mind endowment of the master spirit of Orvantan. The mortal intellect as such has perished, has ceased to exist as a focalized universe entity apart from the undifferentiated mind circuits of the creative spirit. But the meanings and values of the mortal mind have not perished. Certain phases of mind are continued in the surviving soul. Certain experiential values of the former human mind are held by the adjuster, and there persist in the local universe the records of the human life as it was lived in the flesh, together with certain living registrations in the numerous beings who are concerned with the final evaluation of the ascending mortal, beings extending in range from seraphim to universal censors and probably on beyond to the supreme. You read 3 paragraphs, right?
Yeah, 4.
Okay. 4. Okay. 4. Okay. Well, let me go on. Creature volition cannot exist without mind, but it does persist in spite of the loss of the material intellect. During the times immediately following survival, the ascending personality is in great measure guided by the character patterns inherited from the human life and by the newly appearing action of Morontria Mota. And these guides to Mansonia conduct function acceptably in the early stages of the Morontria life and prior to the emergence of Morontria will as a full-fledged volitional expression of the ascending personality. There are no influences in the local universe career comparable to the 7 adjutant mind spirits of human existence. The Morontria mind must evolve by direct contact with cosmic mind, as this cosmic mind has been modified and translated by the creative source of local universe intellect, the divine minister. That's 3 paragraphs. Are you sure you read another one?
Actually, we read through 6.7 and 6.8. But I don't think you should read too much, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Again,
'cause-
interpret.
yeah, it's too much. Yeah. So I'll stop there to do some
Interpretation.
interpretations. Okay. So in the Morontria state here.
对，现在在6.4哈，112.6.4这一段。
In the Morontria state, descending immortal. Okay, so in the physical earth plane, our mind is channeled by these mind circuits called adjutant spirits.
在物质生命的时候，我们的心智是由这个联合这个叫什么辅助
心智
助
之灵。
心智之灵啊，辅助心智之灵这个回路所传导的，就是实际上我们的心智能作用是由这辅助心智之灵它的作用来引起的。没有它来辅助这个回路来辅助我们的心智也不会工作。
Think of it like maybe the electricity that powers our brains, or maybe like radio frequencies that our minds tune into in order to be able to function right. Think of it like something like that.
就像那个收音机哈，它得调频调到一个频率，然后才能接收到这个信号，然后它才能够发出就是有声音能传出来。对，就是那个电呢就是电化学信号是被脑这个器官所就是活化的。看来我们的心智也是像一个电反应回路这样的。
These secular materialists here on earth always think that things something like a brain or a mind just evolved and works automatically. But the Urantia book tells us there are always spiritual components to almost everything about us, not the physical body, but once you get beyond the physical body to the mind, which is not really so physical, and to the emotions, to the spirit, to the soul, you're no longer, you need spiritual influences. We are not really the material beings we think we are.
对，世俗的这个物质主义者吧，他往往认为人的大脑啊、心智啊都是自动的工作的，可是实际上这都包含那个灵性的成分。物质体，其实物质体也是意识的一部分。它这个当然这个地方，还得说，除了物质体之外，那个心智啊、情绪啊、灵魂这些的层面的活动都有灵性的影响。肉体也是，肉体如果没有灵性的影响，它就是尸体了，它就也没有办法正常的工作。这个是我加的。
So it's like without the adjutant mind spirits, our brains would just be hunks of organs, would just be inactive organs, just like computers that are not plugged in. They wouldn't do anything. They'd have the functionality, the capability, but they would not be activated. We rely on these local universe adjutant mind spirits on the physical plane to activate and guide and sort of channel our minds.
对，这个心智辅助之灵哈，没有他的这个帮忙，他的参与，那么我们这个身体就是一堆的器官，就像那个电脑，它没有插上电，然后它有潜在的功能性和能力，但是它并不工作。那么这个我们这个心智哈，由这个地方宇宙就是来活化和指导和通灵，对，就是由这个心智辅助之灵来，就是来活化这个功能，我们的心智的功能。
And all animal minds on a physical planet are activated by most of these adjutant spirits, all minds, but only human beings can activate the highest two, which are philosophy, the adjutant spirit of philosophy, and the adjutant spirit of worship. So I'm pretty sure it's worship. So those two, is like wisdom and worship, or philosophy and worship. Those two animals don't have. That's why we're so different than animals. Like animals just don't have religion. They just don't have a concept of God. They just don't philosophize about, hey, a dog doesn't sit around going, why am I here? What's my purpose in life? That only humans do that. But that's because we have access to two more. Our brains are configured to have access to two more adjutant mind spirits than animals.
那动物的心智呢，它也是由这个辅助心智之灵来活化的，就是辅助心智之灵比较低级的功能的那个活化。然后呢，最高的2个辅助心智之灵的回路，包括这个哲学性的思考啊、智慧的拥有啊和这个敬拜的这种渴望啊，这个是比较高的心智回路的。那只有人他才会产生寻求神的这个愿望啊，有这个宗教的崇拜啊，有这种哲学性的思考，为什么我在这里哈？我这人生的意义是什么？这个是人，这个是专有的，因为只有人才受这个辅助心智之灵的高级回路的这个传导。
Now they're trying to explain to us how the Morontria mind works, because we no longer have access to these adjutant spirits that govern our human mind. It's a different spiritual frequency on the Morontria worlds that tunes into our minds.
Oh, I didn't. I kind of absent-minded. What did you say?
Oh, that's okay. The first sentence here that I read is, in the Morontria state, the ascending mortal is endowed with the Nebadon, that's our local universe, modification of the cosmic mind endowment of the master spirit of Orvanton. In other words, they're telling us when we get to the Morontria world, our minds are no longer tuning into the adjutant spirits. Those are just for the physical world. Now our mind is endowed with the Nebadon modification of the cosmic mind. So the cosmic mind is throughout the universe, and it's an endowment of the master spirit of Orvanton. Okay. Whew. All right. Orvanton. Okay. Before we go into it, this first sentence is describing how our mind is channeled into different frequencies on the Morontria world than these adjutant spirits I just described on the physical world.
Yeah, OK. 那么我们在灵智性世界的时候呢，相当于我们的心智呢就被不同的这个宇宙心智这个频率所传导，就是指导这个回路就变了。对，它就是第一句话嘛，126.4呢，养生中的凡人 被赋予宇宙心智的内巴顿修改版本，这个内巴顿版本是奥温顿主谓之灵所赋予的，就是那个新的这个心智回路，这个它的指导是这个指导回路是由奥温顿就是我们的这个什么超级宇宙对主谓之灵所赋予的这个新的心智回路的指导。
So, if I'm not mistaken, the cosmic mind, which is mentioned many times throughout the Urantia book, is an emanation, is a quality, a function of the infinite spirit. I'm saying this for fans mainly. The infinite spirit is part of the Holy Trinity, God, the Father, the infinite spirit, and the eternal Son. They're the center of everything in the universe. They each take care of different areas. The infinite spirit contributes the cosmic mind to all the universes, if I'm not mistaken.
那么这个宇宙心智呢，在月下之书就是经常会提到，那么它的品质是那个无限之灵来赋予的。那么无限之灵呢，是神圣三位一体的一个组成成分这个是宇宙当中所有事物的一个中心。
So they're telling us that they're telling us here that in the Morontria state, in the Morontria state, the ascending world down with the never ending. Okay, now there's seven super universes in the entire grand universe. There's 7 super universes, and we live in Orvantan, which is the 7th. It was the last created of all of them. Orvantan is the super universe we live in.
那么在这个整个的大宇宙当中有7个超级宇宙我们就是这个 Orvantan 这个就是最后的一个超级宇宙是7个当中最后一个被这个创造出来的。
There are also 7 master spirits that are they're like representatives of the Trinity. They're really, really high, powerful beings that the flavor, each one has a little different, we'll call it a flavor. One master spirit represents God, one represents the Son, one represents the infinite spirit, one represents the Father and the Son, one represents the Father and the Spirit, one represents the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. There's 7 combinations. So each master spirit represents a different combination of the Trinity. And that's why each super universe has a little bit of a different flavor because of that.
7个主谓之灵呢，相当于就是代表三位一体的神的3个面相是非常的高全能的存有。那么他们的风味不大一样，就是有的主谓之灵是主要代表父的三位一体当中父的，有的是代表子的，有的是代表无限之灵的，有的是混合了父和无限之灵，有的是混合了父跟子，有的是混合了子跟灵。那么第7个主谓之灵，它是把3位一体都这个风味都混在一起。这是一个就是说不同的这7个超级宇宙，它都是各有侧重，各有不同，这风味各有不同。那么第7个它就是对3个都合在一起。
In the beginning of the book, there's entire papers just on all these things. I'm just giving a very brief synopsis so that we can understand what they're talking about here.
在这本书的前面的部分哈，有详细的介绍这些，对，我只是大概就这么说了一下。
We intentionally did not start at the beginning of the book. We started at the parts that I felt were the most important to us to know first, to know right now.
嗯哼，对，我们有意识的没有从书的开头读，而是从那个我认为最重要的这本书最重要的那些启示开始读的。
So we have to go back and explain things a lot.
所以就要多补充那个解释有一些概念。
Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the seventh super universe or Vantan, the flavor of our master spirit is the Son, the Father, and the Spirit, all three, the Trinity, the only super universe that represents all three.
嗯哼。对，如果我没错的话，那么第7个超级宇宙，它的确是代表这个圣父、圣子和无限之灵的，就代表这3个的，就是奥温顿、主谓之灵。
And I seem to remember reading that when the 7 master spirits meet together, our master spirit is the leader because he represents all three.
对，那么如果我没记错的话，那么我们这个奥温顿超级宇宙的这个主谓之灵，它实际上是在7个当中是具有7个主谓之灵当中具有领导地位的，因为它是代表这个完全代表的3位一体的。
Don't hold me to that. Eventually we'll read that section.
你不要就是过多相信我说的，那我们会学到这一部分。对的，这只是我的印象。
But I do think that we are very lucky to live in the universe that represents the whole Trinity. I think that's the most complete flavor you can have in a super universe.
嗯哼。对，那么我认为就是我们非常幸运哈，生活在第7个超级宇宙。那么，因为我从我们的主谓之灵，它是代表整个的3位一体，使我们得到的是比较完全的这个口味。
Now I forget, but I think there are 10 million local universes in a super universe. Do you remember that, Ricky? I think there's 10 million. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for what we're going to talk about. But let's say there's 10 million.
对，就是他也记不清了，就是在我们这个超级宇宙是不是有1000万的那个地方宇宙？他的这个数字他记不清了。
And the man we know as Jesus Christ is the sovereign of our local universe, and our local universe is called Nebadon.
这个我们的这个耶稣基督呢，他是我们的地方宇宙内巴顿这个地方宇宙的管理者。
On earth, when he was born on earth as a man, his name was Jesus of Nazareth, but his order is he's actually a Michael's son, and he is the son of the eternal Son in the Trinity, and he's a Michael's son. So he's often called Christ Michael.
对，那个当他诞生在这个宇宙，他第7次赠予诞生在这个地球的时候，那么他身为一个人是拿撒勒的耶稣，那么他是迈克尔之子，就是那种永恒之子，3位一体的来源的永恒之子，你又称为这个迈克尔基督。
And we also call him Jesus Christ, because Christ, I think Christ means Holy One or God-like, or or the what do they call it? The
Anointed one.
Messiah, the
Anointed
Messiah.
one.
What?
Anointed one.
Yeah. I think we can look it up, but Christ means something like that. So he's a Michael's son as far as the universe goes. He's a Michael's son, just like we are mortals. He's a Michael's son. He's the order of Michael. That's the kind of being he is. The Michael sons are the sovereigns of the local universes. And he just happened to be born on our planet. Only one planet in his whole local universe was he born as a man on, and that's ours. We're incredibly lucky.
这基督的这个称号呢，就是包含是是那个神圣的那一位，或者受膏的那一位。所以呢，耶稣基督哈，耶稣相当于就是他的，诞生在我们的这个星球，就是给他的名字，然后基督代表他的身份，那么就是迈克尔之子呢，相当于他们都是三位一体直接来的，他们就是作为地方宇宙的统治者，就这个系列迈克尔之子这个系列都是到地方宇宙去做王的，相当于。
Oh, and the Michael sons do not just rule the super universes. I mean the local universes. They create them.
这个迈克尔之子这个系列，他们不光是说统治这个地方宇宙，他们实际上还是创造主，是这个地方宇宙的创造者。
And just like they're the Michael sons are all sons of the eternal Son, who is part of this Trinity. They all have partners, and their partners are local mother spirits, and the mother spirits are all daughters of the infinite spirit, who is also part of the Trinity.
他是怎么创造这个地方宇宙呢？是跟这个永恒之子哈，他跟那个地方母灵去合作来创造的地方宇宙。那么地方母灵它是来源是三位一体当中的无限之灵。
So the master spirit of Orvanton, our super universe. Oh, before I say that, I should just say, I don't want to brag too much, but we live on the best planet in Nebadon, and we live in the best super universe.
对，就是他夸耀了一下，说我们不光是生活在地方宇宙那8段地方宇宙的最好的星球，我们也生活在7个超级宇宙当中的最好的超级宇宙。
There are a lot of problems here on Earth, but we're very, very, to be born here on this planet, the one planet in the whole local universe of millions and millions of planets, the one planet where our sovereign, the creator of our local universe, was born and lived a life here with us as one of us, is just incredibly lucky. It's like the chosen place. It's like no one else, everyone else reads about this story, hears about the story, but it's part of our story. What the whole local universe of Nebadon, everyone in Nebadon knows about our little planet because they all know the story that Jesus came and lived here.
Yeah. 对，就是当然我们地球哈有很多的问题哈，但是我们但是耶稣呢是诞生在这儿的。那么这个星球小小的星球只是亿万的星球，我们亿万星球的一个哈，我们地方宇宙亿万星球当中的一个。但是呢，是我们的地方宇宙的统治者和创造者呢选择在第7次赠予哈出生在我们这个星球 成为我们当中的一个人类当中的一员，所以就是我们是非常非常的幸运的，生来这个地方是一个拣选的地方，被拣选的地方，在整个的这个地方宇宙当中是一个被拣选的地方，整个的内巴顿都知道造物主地方造物主是来到这里生活在这里过。
Okay, so the cosmic mind emanates from the infinite spirit in the Trinity, in the center of the universes of universes. So the cosmic mind is some kind of energy or frequency or circuit. You know, think of it like the cosmic mind is to intellect what gravity is to physical things like planets and moons and stars and suns. They all rely on gravity to stay, where to circle other things, to stay in sync with the rest of the universe. All intellect relies on the cosmic mind to function.
对，这个宇宙心智呢，来源于这个宇宙无限之灵，那么相当于可以把它看成一个能量的频率一个回路。对，就如同这个物质的星球是靠这个引力就是来维持它的回路，它的那个轨道。那么这个宇宙心智呢，也靠这种类似的这种的频率的回路来互相的进行交流。
And reading this sentence, and forgetting what it says elsewhere, it says the mind endowment of the master spirit of Orvantan, the cosmic mind endowment of the master spirit of so our master spirit of our super universe Orvantan has a mind endowment. So that sounds to me like it has to do with the flavor of our super universe. It changes the cosmic mind. It has a kind of cosmic mind that's the cosmic mind throughout all the universes is adapted by our master spirit to our super universe. So we have a little bit of a different flavor of the cosmic mind in our super universe, in every super universe. That's what it sounds like.
对，这个主谓之灵
Is that hard to explain?
对，就是它这个宇宙心智呢，宇宙心智它就要被这个主谓之灵，它都要就是在做一些的调整，然后适应于我们这个超级宇宙。
琪琪，我感觉这句是为了适应我们的这个地方宇宙，所以超级宇宙的主谓之灵为我们的地方宇宙做了一个修改版本，而不是超级宇宙的修改版本。
内巴顿修改版本，这个内巴顿版本奥论中所赋予的，就是说这
内巴
个
顿的修改版本。
主谓之灵就是我们这个主谓之灵，
是超级宇宙的主谓之灵，赋予了我们一个内巴顿地方宇宙的修改版本，不是超级宇宙的修改版本。
So Heidi, this cosmic mind may also be adapted the frequency to the
universe
modification, Nebadan modification.
That's what I was going to say next. Yeah. So it looks like the cosmic mind is adapted first to the super universe by the master spirit, and then the ascending mortal is endowed with the Nebadan modification. So then it's modified for a little bit more for each local universe. So, I mean, I just think we should think of it as we have our own flavor of cosmic mind that's Nebadonian, like it's kind of like there's like a mindset in Beijing, and there's a mindset in New York, and there's a mindset in Paris. You know, like it's kind of like a cultural way of thinking that might be a little bit different. Do you know what I'm saying? I think of it like that.
对，就是说主谓之灵呢，首先它得调节这个宇宙心智适合它所在的这个超级宇宙，然后再进一步呢，再调节，那个对适应每一个地方宇宙，它就产生它这个宇宙心智的它这个频率版本，那就相当于说，哎，你看。纽约有纽约的风味，北京的风味，巴黎有巴黎的风味，就是它是进一步，就是这个心智的这种都不大一样，它就是又做了进一步的那个修改，进一步的适应，有不同的风味。
Each Michael's son, each Michael's son is a person with a distinct personality. So when they create their universe with the mother spirit, certain things have to be uniform. Everything the mother contributes is pretty uniform, but everything that the son contributes has a little bit of personality. They have a little choice. So no two local universes are the same, are the exact same in all of the master universes, in all of the millions of local universes in the 7 super universes. They're all different because they're created. You could say they're made by different artists, right? They're all works of art created by different artists, but there's certain things about them that are all uniform, that have to be the same, and then they have a certain amount of choice.
对，就是这个迈克尔之子呢，他们就是你可以把它想成有一些的各异的人格人格特征。那么他跟造物母灵来合作创造每一个地方宇宙。那么这个每一个迈克尔之子呢，就是他都有他自己的这个选择，就是照他的不同的风味来创造他的地方宇宙。那个就是有上百万的这个地方宇宙，那么都就是你可以想象，就是不同的艺术家他们都从事从事创造，那么他们的风格也是不大一样的。
For example, the local universe of Nebadon, our sovereign ruler, our Michael son, he has a lot of mercy. He believes so much in freedom that there's probably more rebellion in this local universe than in most, because he wants to give us all the possible freedom. He believes in that. That's his personality. He would rather you had more freedom and more rebellions than less freedom and less rebellions. And I'll be right back.
OK， 那么他就说呢，我们这个地方宇宙的那个统治者就是我们这个迈克尔之子。那么他大概比较的更重视、更相信这个自由自由的重要性。那么他给予我们这个这么多的自由呢，就是结果到最后我们就，尤其我们的星球就不光是星球，他那个背叛，只是我们星球只是参与其中，它是整个的，所以他由于自由太多了，结果呢造成一个系统的这个背叛，这个路西佛这个背叛，这在那个所以这个是我们这迈克尔之子，他这个地方宇宙这个创造者的他的这个特点，他就是比较相信自由。
对，他最仁慈
最讲究爱自由仁慈
Okay, I'm back.
对，什么东西都是如影随形嘛，对，都是相辅相成的。你给予太多了，那个太溺爱了，那么也有的时候，有的塑造物它就会滥用这种自由嘛，所以。
Did I miss anything?
前面那个地方，他就说造物母灵，他可能就是说他对造物过程当中的贡献是统一的、一致的，但是呢，每一个迈克尔之子呢，他却有他自己的这种选择，去给予每一个他造的地方宇宙不同的这种风味。前面我这一部分没有翻到，这样补充一下。Okay. Yeah, no, we just said, if you were given freedom, more freedom, you might have more leeway, and then some creature might misuse this freedom.
Yes. Yes. So different local universes, different sovereigns believe in more or less. I mean, they all believe in free will, I mean, they're not run like, there are no tyrants in the master universe, but some believe in more rules and regulations and some in less, because that's just naturally how any leader, it has that kind of prerogative, to oh shit, that's one of the things that's one of the options a leader has, to rule more strictly or less strictly. That's a quality of leadership.
对，当然了，就是这迈克尔制，肯定他们都是就是奉行相信自由的，但是呢，对，因为在超级宇宙当中是没有就是独裁者的，但是呢，就是每一个统治者他就是说，有的大概比较更严格一些啊，有比较更多的规定啊、规矩啊。对，每一个有的比较那个更宽松一些，所以每一个领导者他是有他的选择对，来他的领导的风格也不大一样。
They very often call America, the United States of America, very often it's called the Great Experiment. The Great Experiment, because this is the first country on this planet that decided to go more like Michael's idea for Nebadon, which is give people more freedom, let them make mistakes, let them hurt each other, let them do bad things, but it's still, in the end, it will be a better place. That's why they call it an experiment, because it has never been tried before anywhere else on this planet, where there was rulers who said, no, let the people rule. We're going to represent. Now, of course, it didn't work out that way. It got very corrupt. But the idea, the experiment was, let's see what it's like to have a country where the rulers represent the people. They don't rule the people. And the people have as much authority and freedom as the rulers.
对，像美国，它就是一个实验性的这种体制就是给予人更多的自由，然后这个统治者他是代表人的，而不是去统治人的。那么实际上，相当于我们这个星球是不是也是再扩大一下？这个星球也是个实验性的星球，然后呢，就是来做一下实验，来让人们自己去统治、去管理他们自己，看看怎么样，是不是有这种腐败啊或者堕落出现。他就是给这个最大的自由，给人们最大的自由意志，来看看会发生什么。
So we have a constitution. It's just a piece of paper, a document that guarantees every individual all kinds of rights. And it says in this constitution that these are not rights given to us by our leaders. They are called God-given rights.
对，这个我们有这个宪法，就是保证每个人的权利。对，就是神父的个人的权利和自由。
And this is the last thing I'll say about America. As I said, leaders get all this money and all this power, and they say, "Oh, the heck with the Constitution." I'm going to tell everyone, it hasn't worked out so well so far, but this is very interesting. In America, when you join the army or you get a political position, you don't make a vow to the king or the queen or the president or the leader. You make your vow to the Constitution. That's not like other countries. Even as a soldier in the military, you make your vow to the Constitution. You will honor the Constitution. The Constitution is above every leader.
对，对，就是在这个国家，当你就是加入军队的时候，你发誓效忠的时候，不是效忠哪一个领导，而是对着宪法来效忠。就是你要忠诚于宪法，因为宪法是高于任何一个统治者的。
But when you give people so much freedom, a lot of things can go wrong. And in our case, a lot of things have gone wrong. But that doesn't mean that in the end, it won't still work out.
Yeah. 那么给予很多的自由呢，有可能是很多事情会变糟了，但是这并不意味着最终来讲一切都不会变好。
And that's what's going on in our local universe in Nebadon. We're still in the early phases. So there are still rebellions. There's still a lot going wrong. But Michael's leadership viewpoint is that in the end, we'll be stronger, we'll be more loyal, we'll be better because of it. That's his view.
在我们这个地方宇宙呢，我们仍是发展的初级的阶段，那么有这个背叛的发生，很多事情就是好像走的路都不大对，然后呢，但是呢，迈克尔直指的这个领导权，到最后就会实际上会有更多的对他的忠诚。就是人都会回归到对神的忠诚。对，虽然现在好像很多的背叛，很多的背弃神的这种现象，但是最终来讲，它是有一个回归啊，它大概是这个意思。
Okay. I just want to say that I think I told you this is nothing to do with anything, but I put these bells on my doors because someone told me when I got a dog that he might learn to ring the bell to let me know when he wanted to go out.
Yes, you told me.
Yeah, and he doesn't use them, but one cat uses them.
Yeah, cat is smart.
One cat. The other one doesn't. But now he's decided to use them anytime he wants my attention. If he wants to be fed,
generalized,
if
he
wants to be fed, if he wants a special dessert, if he wants another breakfast, another dinner, he just rings the bell.
对，他刚才这段讲到他就是说，人家告诉他哈，在门口装一个铃铛，就是给狗用，狗想出去的时候，因为狗都要出去撒尿嘛。狗出去的时候让它摇铃铛，结果呢，他们家的猫也有一只猫也学会了用这个铃铛，对，并且现在他把用这个铃铛用到很多其他的方面，想得到大人的这个注意啊，想吃东西了也都去摇那个铃铛。 对，
and he'll keep ringing it. He'll keep ringing it till I go to him.
啊，他就是越来越喜欢摇这个铃铛了。对，他巴甫洛夫的那个条件反射原理，他也对他一摇铃铛就有好事儿嘛，所以他变得好像就是有点上瘾了。
Now, if the dog is downstairs and I ignore the ringing, the dog will start barking to get me to pay attention to the cat's ringing.
对，如果这个正好狗也在下面呢，然后猫摇铃了之后呢，狗就会提醒在楼上的海蒂，就是让他注意这个铃声。Yeah, you are a whole family, you know, the
Yes.
reflection circuit.
The dog is like the advocate. He's like the advocate for the cat.
对，这相当于狗，那个狗在为猫服务，那个狗成了猫的这个就伸延者，就是帮助猫说话。对
It's really funny.
they
Okay,
are a line, they are a line,
allies.
a lines.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. He makes. And
他们成了一个同盟了。
when the cats are outside and want to come in, the dog barks to let me know to let the cats in.
对，当猫在外面想进来的时候，那个狗就会叫，相当于主人赶快给猫开门了，所以这狗成了这个猫的使者了。That's very funny.
I know.
Small society, small community.
He's like my dog, and he's like their dog.
这狗相当于不是他的狗了，成为猫的狗了。猫的
Okay, so in the Morontria State Descending Moral. Okay, so all of that for just this one sentence. In the Morontria State, the ascending mortal is endowed with the Nebadon modification of the cosmic mind endowment of the master spirit of Vorvantan. That's what we've been talking about. So we have our mind, once we're in the Morontria world, is tuned into this Nebadon type of Vorvantan type of cosmic mind circuits.
对，整个这第一句哈112.6.4第一句就是说我们在灵知性状态的时候就调整到这个奥温顿主谓之灵所赋予的这个，然后又加了内巴顿修改版本，这新的心智回路，新的宇宙心智回路。
So then the next sentence says the mortal intellect as such has perished, has ceased to exist as a focalized universe entity apart from the undifferentiated mind circuits of the creative spirit. So apparently the creative spirit has something to do with all of the mind circuits in a local universe. You can say, so there's always some kind of influence there. She's the one who also emanates the adjutant mind spirits for the physical planets, but she's also involved in all of the cosmic mind spirit in the whole local universe, the creative mother spirit of the local universe. That's the Michael's partner.
所以这个创造之灵呢，造物之灵呢，那么他对就参与了那个指导这个物质心智的那个辅助心智之灵那个回路，它实际上也就是对，就是在各个层次、各个维度，大概它都是就是把这个宇宙心智就是对不同的维度的造物，它就都能提供指导。它就是相当于那个就叫分化嘛，分化心智回路。So he undifferentiated. What does undifferentiated?
Because in other words, undifferentiated means not different. So in other words, there are general mind circuits that are always emanating from the mother spirit for all levels, but there are differentiated special mind circuits just for people on Earth, on material planets. So we lose access to those, and that governs the mortal intellect. But we still have access to some undifferentiated mother, emanations. Just think of it as the cosmic mind, but the Nebadon version of it. It's coming from the mother spirit, so we still have access.
第二句是说，就是当我们凡人的时候呢，当我们就是受那个福州心智之灵的那个指导，那个是相当于造物母灵，它就专门分化来就指导这个物质心智的。当凡人之力消亡的时候，他就对那个回路就没办法回应了嘛。但是呢，他还能够对这个未分化心智回路那部分进行回应。
So remember when I said that the animals had access to most of the adjutant mind circuits for a material world, but not all of them. And humans had access to 2 more, all the animal circuits and 2 more, worship and wisdom. So that flavors the human, the mortal intellect. Just like animals on a planet have a certain type of intellect, humans have a certain type of mortal intellect, meaning there's certain things our minds can do. There's certain things our minds can't do. Our minds work in a certain way. That's the mortal intellect. But when we go to the Morontria world, we no longer have the mortal intellect. We have a different type of intellect. That's what they're saying.
对，凡人的心智，你比如说那个动物，它也有一定的智力，对吧？因为它也能够被这个那个辅助心智之灵所低位的那些的所指导。我们呢，除了那些，我们还受高位的2个高位的辅助心智之灵指导，所以我们有敬拜啊，我们有智慧的追求啦，哲学的思考有这些的对于凡人心智哈。对，那就是当灵智体的时候，它就是又受不同的那个心智回路的指导。
Just like our human body is gone, we'll never have it again. It's going to be replaced with a Morontria body. Our human mind is gone. We'll never have it again. It's going to be replaced with a Morontria mind.
对，那是我们的肉身走了，然后被灵智体取代，也是我们的凡人心智不再用了，然后又被就是灵智性的心智所取代。
But just like certain, remember it said that in some ways, even here, our physical appearance reflects who we are inside, and that will still be the same, even more so on the Morontria world.
对，就是那个物质形体呢，反映我们内在所示，就是在灵智性世界的时候，更反映我们的内在所示。
In the same way, the meanings and values of our mortal mind have not perished. They will continue with the meanings and values. Our mind will work differently. It will be a different type of intellect, but the meanings and values that we acquired in our mortal life with our mortal mind will be transferred to our new mind. We'll still have them. We'll remember them. They'll be part of our thinking.
对，就是我们的凡人心智哈，其实就是我们在那个时候获得的那个关于意义价值方面的这种理解力，是会转移到灵智性的这个阶段，就成为我们的思考的方式的一部分。
Here on earth, during our earthly material life, we have been thinking with our mortal mind, but at the same time, we have been developing a soul, which is the product of our mind and our thought adjuster, the Spirit of God who lives inside of us. So this soul is a developing part of us. It's like a mind. It's like a Morontria mind. It's like a Morontria soul, a Morontria mind. It's a spiritual intellect that we're developing apart from our physical mind. So many aspects of that soul will be translated directly to the Morontria world. We'll still have that same soul on the Morontria world that we've been developing here.
对，那么在我们的凡人心智当中，那个就是思想调整者和凡人心智共同作用，然后产生出来的这个灵魂，实际上我们就在就是发展出这个灵智性的心智，对，有这个灵性的智慧智力在那儿发展。然后这个灵魂呢，它就是被带到这个灵智体的这个生命阶段。
That's what, okay, go ahead.
OK.
That's why they say certain phases of mind are continued in the surviving soul. They don't say surviving body. They don't say surviving intellect or surviving mortal mind, because those things don't survive. But certain phases of intellect, not all of our intellectual capacity was in our mortal mind. Certain phases of our intellect were already in our soul. And as we develop our soul here, and that soul survives. So they call it the surviving soul. That soul is really like a fetus, like an embryo that really is going to be born in the Morontria world. We're just developing it here.
对，就是这个灵魂在我们这个物质生命时候的灵魂，就更类似于像一个胎儿。胎儿它没有出生呢，它就是只是在那儿发育成长。那么这个东西它要带到灵智生命当中的这个灵魂。
Okay, I'm here. He was ringing again. He rang the first time because he wanted a second breakfast. He rang the second time because he wanted to go outside. Okay. So then it says, okay, so it says certain, it says certain experiential values of the former human health. No. It said, certain phases of mind are continued in the surviving soul. And then certain experiential values of the former human mind are held by the adjuster. So that's what they mean by that is, remember, we've talked about this before. Everything spiritual and important on a spiritual level that you think or that you experience in this world, you become part of your thought adjuster. Yan, your thought adjuster is the Spirit of God that lives inside each one of us. We all have our own unique piece of God inside of us. So this thought adjuster retains and remembers everything of spiritual import in our experience and in our thoughts. And that's what they're saying here. They're saying certain experiential values of the former human mind are held by the adjuster. When they say certain, they mean the spiritual ones.
对，那个6.4中间那块心智的某些方面在续存，灵魂中得以延续，前世人类心智的某些经验价值由调整者保留。那么就是某些经验价值实际上就是指的有灵性价值的、灵性重要性的那一部分的经验，是被思想调整者来吸收、来保存的。那么思想调整者是每一个人都分到是一个神的一个片段，独特的对每一个人格的一个赠予那个神的片段， 那么它保留这一部分有灵性价值的重要性。
Now, many of us have heard many religions and spiritual practices for thousands and thousands of years talk about the Akashic records. Many of us have heard of the Akashic records, which refers to a record that exists in a spiritual domain. In this case, it would be the Morontria worlds, but of everything we said and did in our entire life, that everything is recorded. Well, the Urantia book backs that up. It doesn't call them the Akashic records, but it does say that everything is recorded. So it says right here, and there persist in the local universe the records of the human life as it was lived in the flesh. They don't say spiritual records. Those are held by the thought adjusters. They're just saying records. Our whole life is recorded as it was lived in the flesh, together with certain living registrations in the numerous beings who are concerned with the final evaluation of the ascending mortal. Now, okay, I better let you translate something.
对，那个还是6.4哈，最后几句。那么，最后这2句是地方宇宙中留存着人类生命在肉身生活中的记录，同时留存着众多存有中的生活记录。那么第一句呢，就是相当于他提到那个阿卡西记录。那么实际上，阿卡西记录就是这里边提到的这些的人类生命在肉身生活中的记录啊。对，但是阿卡西记录呢是一个灵性的那个一个领域，界域内，就是相当于在一个灵质性的这个世界上的这么一个记录。
Now we know that these records exist because so many near-death experiencers have life reviews. And this is another thing that's talked about for thousands of years. A life review is after you die, at some point you go through a review of everything important that happened in your life, the good decisions, the bad decisions, the things that helped other people, the things that hurt other people, and you get to review all of it. Now, not everyone who has a near-death experience has a life review. You might have to wait till you die and don't come back to Earth to have your life review, but we're all going to have a life review. And that is proof that these records of our entire life exist.
那么很多的濒死体验当中都提到死了之后呢，要做这个生命的回顾。那么这种的记录有上千年了，那么你要尤其是对那个很对灵魂有触动的那些的是好的或者坏的决定啊，你对别人好或者伤害了别人啦，这些的经历他都给你重演给你看，这个是有这样的记录的一个证明，说明我们整个的生命是被记录在某个地方的。
Yan, did you have a life review?
他就问燕这个朋友，就是在他的濒死体验当中有没有做这个生命回顾这个环节？
没有，我没有。我刚才听的时候还在想。
She said she didn't. She
Yeah,
didn't.
I didn't either. Well, we can look forward to it. One of the reasons I try not to be mean to people now is because I know if I do, I'm just going to have to look at it and feel terrible in my life review.
他说他也在他的濒死体验当中也没有，但是呢，他就是在想着，就是万一有这个东西，他得对周围人要好一点，万一这个他在将来死的时候做生命回顾的时候有一些不好的 review， 避免到时候有一些不好的这种回顾。
That's the main reason, actually.
他说这个是主要的原因，对人好一点。这是这个海蒂非常谦虚的。
I was a little snippy. I just went to the lab to get a drug test for my new job, you know, a tuberculosis test and a drug test. And I was a little snippy to the woman. She was taking too long. I'm like, I have to teach a group and there's people in China waiting for me. Could you hurry up a little?
对，他这个新的工作要做一些的那个，毒品试验啊，什么，肺结核测验啊，这女的有点慢，她就是有点不耐烦。
Of course, I felt bad about it right afterwards.
当然，她过后就好像就有点忏悔了自己的这种信念。
Hopefully that won't be in my life review.
希望这个不出现在我未来的生命回顾当中。No, too minor. I mean,
yeah, let's hope because there's a lot of those, boy. I'd spend like a long time going over if we're going to include all of those.
他说，我说这个太小了，不会出现的。他说，哎呀，有很多这种，对那个。对，他就是觉得自己就是做人方面不够圆融啊，不够耐心呐。对，他一直在反思。
Now it mentions here that the records of the human life as it was lived in the flesh, together with certain living registrations in the numerous beings who are concerned with the final evaluation of the ascending mortals. So beings extending in range from seraphim to universal censors and probably on beyond to the supreme. So what they're saying is that there's certain beings who are concerned with our survival. We all face a sort of, I would call it a tribunal. We don't just get to survive or not get to survive. There's like a court system. Everything is reviewed, and there are very wise, super amazing beings like the universal censors who weigh in. The thought adjuster says, I think this person should survive. Our guardian angel says, this is why I think this person should survive. But then the universal censor is a very high type of being. You can think of it like a lawyer or someone at the court, but they're like mathematical geniuses, and they're able to weigh all of the good against all of the bad. It's actually an ability they have. They don't have to think about it. They automatically can weigh everything about a human being's life, the good and the bad, and make a decision based on all the information they're given. So what I should let you explain, translate some of that.
他说关于是否续存呢，这个他就相当于像有一个类似法院系统的这么一个系统来进行评估的，是由非常的这个非常高的这个灵性存有来做的。那么像调整者呢，可以给出意见，是否续存的意见啊。那个护卫天使也是有这个角色的，然后还有万有监察者。那么万有监察者的角色就像一个法院系统当中的一个律师啊，那一类的角色。那么他是非常天才的数学天才一样的，他能很快的根据就是那个就是量子级别的吧，就是很快的就是平衡你的好的坏的方面，大概就是自动的就会做出这样的裁决。
When you don't make it, when it is decided that you just don't have the spiritual inclination or the spiritual capacity or the will to live an eternal life, to do God's will, to learn and to grow and to get better. If that's just, it can only be finally decided by the ancients of days, the highest beings in the entire super universe. Now, I don't know how they have time to do all this work, because there's a lot of beings in a super universe, but that don't make it. But that goes all the way up to the ancients of days. They're the last, they're like the judges of the super universe. And they're like the Supreme Court judges. So it cannot be decided that you're not going to survive into eternal life past this first life. It goes all the way up to the ancients of days. So, okay, I'll let you say that.
so the universal censors, and eventually we have to go to the ancient of days.
Well, the universal censors, see, I'm trying not to say too much in one thing for you, but I'll explain it to you. The universal censors are in the high court of the ancients of days. So your thought adjuster has their transcript of your life. Your guardian angels have their transcript of your life. And they put forward their recommendation, whether you're going to survive or not survive. But then it goes all the way up to the highest courts, where the universal censors give their pronouncement. But they just tell the ancients of days what the deal is. They're like, here's my conclusion. But the ancients of days are the only ones the universal censors aren't judges. They can't decide. They can only weigh the evidence.
Yeah, weigh evidence. 就是他这又引入了一个概念，是那个亘古常在者。那么就是思想调整者有他们的记录啊 ，Guardian 就是护卫天使有他的记录，他们可以给出这个建议，给出这个推荐的意见哈。给这个万有监察者，他也就是那个也就是平衡所有的这个证据，然后也就是呈现给那个亘古常在者。亘古常在者呢，他就是根据整个的这个人格，他的这个倾向啊，这个能力啊，这个他的意志啊，是否就是衡量他有这个续存，能够拥有永恒的生命，有这个续存的价值，能够继续学习和成长啊，有没有这个潜力？就是进行这个养生之旅吧，相当于。所以这个亘古常在者相当于是整个的超级宇宙的这个法官，他的角色是最高法院的那个法官，他是最后决定是否续存的那个决定者。
So it says here, and we're almost done with this very difficult paragraph. It says, and there persisted in the local universe the records of the human life as it was lived. Okay, those are the Akashic records, together with certain living registrations in the numerous beings who are concerned with the final evaluation of your life. And these beings range from the seraphim to the universal censors, and probably on to the supreme. So what they're saying is, not only are there records of your life, but there's also certain living registrations in the numerous beings. So what does that mean? What's a living registration in a being? It means, to me, I would say it means that the seraphim, certain angels, seraphim are angels, and the universal censors, and maybe all the way on to the supreme being, who's a god of the local universe, and not of the local universe, of the master universe. The experiential God. What they're saying is, there's not only these records, there's also a knowledge about you. They're calling it a living registration. So your information is registered in these people. The seraphim, the universe, there's a certain kind of knowledge they have about you and your life. That's what they're saying.
对，它就是living registration 生活记录众多存有的生活记录，就是说你这个生命轨迹的这个记录，不光是信仰传承者这个你的护卫天使他有这个记录，那么其他的灵界存有他也留存了你这个肉身生活中的这些现活的记录，那个包括这个至高存在者，这个至高者呢是相当于是主宇宙的经验之神主宇宙的经验之神，相当于就是它是留存你所有的这种生命记录的，你不管你续存不续存，它都有记录。
You could say you're known to them. They know you. So they don't have to look at the records. They know you. You're known to them. Now, they may look at the records for certain things. We don't know. But certainly, to some extent, certain things about you or maybe just the important things that they need to know are known because that's their job. The sensors are involved. These universal sensors are involved with survival. So apparently, they're able to know things about you and your life without even looking at the records. But they may also look at the records. We don't know. That's irrelevant.
对，就是这些灵界存有，他们是知道你的，就是说，包括万有监察者，对吧？他不一定需要看记录，那么他实际上也知道你。
And our thought adjuster knows all about us, and our guardian angel knows all about us. But they're saying the supreme being probably knows about us too.
对，你看这个信仰调整知道我们所有的，然后护卫天使也知道我们对这些都是赤露敞开的。那这个地方又说那个至高存在者也是也是知道你的。
So what this paragraph is saying is, yes, we leave behind our mortal body, we leave behind our mortal intellect, but everything about our life is recorded, is known. Everything of meaning and value that we need, we take with us or will be given to us again by our thought adjuster when we're remanifested on the next level. And anything about our life that has to do with our survival is also known by the beings who determine our survival. So nothing nothing at all is lost because the records have everything in them, but nothing important is lost either. They're describing all the different ways that nothing is lost.
对，这个就是说是，当然好像我们生活在这个肉身后面用的是人类的心智，但是所有的意义价值都会保留，然后会在灵智性世界的时候重新给予我们有续存价值的。那么这些的灵界存有就是决定我们续存价值的，那么它也不会忽略任何重要的东西，就是都会保存，都会被评估的。
The Urantia book uses free will and volition, or your volition and your free interchangeably, synonymously. So whenever they say volition, they're saying free will. Whenever they say free will, they're saying volition. Volition is your ability to make decisions, to choose to do something. And it is my volition to interpret the Urantia book, right? It's you get it. I'm just saying that because they always talking about either or.
对，这个预言下之书说到自由意志的时候，用到两个词，一个是 free will， 还有另外一个是 volition。那 volition 其实指的是你做决定的能力，你做选择的能力 对，那个，比如说，我选择来就是进行讲解《与海蒂之书》，对，这都是自由意志的一种表现。
So there's probably a word for volition in Chinese, and there's probably a word for free will in Chinese. Are they synonymous also?
大概 evolution 是不是就是意志啊？然后free will 就是自由意志。Yeah, they are. We have something similar.
Okay, so just so that you're clear. Okay, so here it says the next paragraph, creature volition cannot exist without mind. So the Urantia book is always saying that personality and volition go together. Free will, and when you have a personality, you're also, which is a gift from God, you're also given free will or volition. The two go together, but you need a mind. You need some kind of mind to make your decisions, to express your volition.
对。那么一提到人格呢，往往就伴随着这个自由意志，所以人格它是就是父的赠予嘛，人格，然后同时他给的你就是伴随人格的都是有这个自由意志，这两个是总是在一起的。然后呢，它需要什么来表达这自由意志呢？人格是需要这个心智来表达这个自由意志的。
So what they're saying is that even though we use our mind to enact our free will, we can't make decisions without our mind. They're saying when our mortal mind goes, when we leave behind our mortal mind, we still have free will. We still have volition. It's just getting transferred into our new mind.
这个6.5哈112.6.5，对，这个地方是说，这个虽然我们在有肉身的时候，我们是用我们的心智来表达这自由意志，但是当我们把这个物质体和物质心智抛到后边的时候，这个自由意志这个它是会转移到新的这个灵智体的心智的。
In other words, we always have our free will. We always have our volition, no matter what state our mind is in. We can't always, if our mind is disabled or we're unconscious, we're not going to use it, but it's still there. It's never taken away from us.
对，所以就说这自由意志它都一直都在的，对，它一直是伴随这个人格的。
So then now it says, during the times immediately following survival, the ascending personality is in great measure guided by the character patterns inherited from the human life and by the newly appearing action of Morontria Self. So that sounds complicated, but really they're just saying, hey, you're being born. You're like a baby. You have to get used to this new mind. It has to kind of form. You don't just wake up with a brand new mind. There's still patterns and habits of thinking that you carry over from your old mind, and you're still kind of relying on those until you get adjusted to your new mind. That's all it's saying.
对，那个这一句好像对很复杂，但是呢，实际上就表达了一个什么意思呢？那你在灵智体的时候，你得到一个新的头脑哈，新的这个心智，但是呢，它还是沿袭旧的，你在从人类生命所继承的特质的模式，就是你思维的模式还是有一定的连贯性的然后呢，你慢慢的会调整到你的新的这个灵智性心智的模式。
So they're saying that in the very beginning, in great measure guided by the character patterns inherited from the human life. And then it says, and these guides to Mansonia conduct function acceptably in the early stages of the Morontria life and prior to the emergence of Morontria will as a full-fledged volitional expression of the ascending personality. So they're saying Morontria will. So they're saying you still have your free will. It kind of is like you kind of bring it over from your mortal life, but then it's gradually replaced with a new kind of will and a new kind of mind, the Morontria will and the Morontria mind. So not only will you get a Morontria mind, but you'll also have a Morontria will, because it'll be your mind and your will always function together.
对，这个心智啊和意志啊总是一起工作的哈。然后呢，经过这个，就是你那个不光是你的心智哈，就是由原来的物质心智，然后现在过渡到灵智性的心智，你的这个原来物质生命时候的那种自由意志，然后慢慢的也会过渡到这个灵智性意志啊，它这个心智跟意志，它就是这样的手牵手这样一起工作的。
So a little while ago we talked about that there's the master spirit of our super universe kind of adapts the cosmic mind to our super universe. But then we said, then there's another Nebadon, which is our local universe adaptation. Well, that's done by the divine minister. The divine minister is the creative mother spirit, same being. It's the partner of Christ Michael. So the divine minister is the source of all the mind circuits in Nebadon, in a local universe. So they're saying here, okay, I'll let you say that.
上面也提到那造物母灵那个地方宇宙的造物母灵，那么它是就是所有的心智回路的源头，那么它又称为这个神圣的管理者。
So first they're saying in this last paragraph that I read, first they're saying there are no influences in the local universe career comparable to the 7 adjutant mind spirits of human experience. So they're saying the Morontria mind's completely different. We're now starting to access the cosmic mind. The 7 adjutant spirits are completely different from the cosmic mind. So forget about that. It's not like there's 7 adjutant spirits that are just modified to be Morontria. They don't exist anymore. Now we're accessing the cosmic mind. They're gone. No more adjutant mind spirits for us. That's just for the human experience. We have a completely different kind of mind on Morontria.
对，那2.6.6这一节呢，就告诉我们说，这个只有在我们肉身生命的时候哈，它才与人类共同存在这种7种辅助心智之灵，才会就是我们的心智受这个辅助心智之灵的影响。但是在我们灵智体的时候，灵智性心智呢就不受这个的影响了，直接是与这个宇宙心智直接接触而进化。
But it doesn't happen immediately. We don't just wake up with a completely new way of thinking. We still have the habit of thinking as if there were adjutant mind spirits. So our mind's going to, for a while, still be guided by the way we're used to thinking, while it slowly evolves to this new type of thinking that is influenced by the cosmic mind in the whole master universe, but the cosmic mind adapted by the divine minister of our local universe.
对，他就是说这还是有一个转变的一个过渡期的，不是一下子就失去这个辅助心智之灵的影响。那么一开始还是，他还是在过渡期，还是帮助你继续原来的一种思考模式，但是慢慢的就过渡到这个连质性心智，就直接受宇宙心智的指导。而这个宇宙心智，它是已经被那个神圣执事修改和转化的，适应这个地方宇宙，我们这个灵智体的。
So we will have a Morontria mind, a type of mind that's adapted to the Morontria life forms, the Morontria type of being. But that Morontria mind must evolve by direct contact with cosmic mind. So that Morontria mind is, think of it like the human brain is a type of brain. Well, the Morontria mind is a type of Morontria brain, but it's plugged in to the cosmic mind. But that's a new experience. So we slowly evolve to our mind's going to keep evolving for all eternity with the cosmic mind. We're becoming more and more and more plugged into the cosmic mind as we evolve through all eternity. And it starts on the Morontria world.
对，是相当于这个灵智性心智吧，它慢慢的进化到能够直接的跟宇宙心智接上线儿了，然后在整个我们的进化过程当中，就是越来越调频，且跟那个宇宙心智能够直接接上线儿。
Just like we have a soul, an evolving soul here on earth, in our earth minds, but this soul is being influenced by our thought adjuster, by this fragment of God within us. Then when we bring that soul becomes part of our Morontria mind. And then instead of well, it may still be influenced by the thought adjuster, I don't know, but it definitely gets plugged into the cosmic mind and keeps evolving.
对，那个我们在有物质体的时候，这个心智跟那个思想调整者，然后一起也创造出了这个灵魂。这个灵魂它是受思想调整者的指导的。那么在灵智性那个心智这个阶段，那个灵魂它继续的相当于进化，然后接受更多的宇宙心智的那个调整。
So the adjutant circuits that our minds are plugged into here, remember, most of them are the same for us as for the animals. So it's a very basic type of circuit. It's enabling us to just do things, function, think basic thoughts, but when we start tuning into the cosmic mind, its potential is unlimited. It's very wise, very philosophical, very spiritual. It goes all the way to God thinking, to thinking like God. It starts with the Morontria. We can only access parts of it as we evolve, but it's unlimited in its scope. It's a completely different and very spiritual type of mind.
对，7个辅助心智之灵的回路，那么我们大部分就是5个，至少它就是都是跟动物，我们也是就是受这个影响的，那个就只是帮助我们就做一些最基本的事儿，但是呢，到了宇宙心智的这个阶段，那么就是更多的灵性层面的 思考，就是越来越灵性，就是像神一样的去思考。那么这个进化往上这个程度是没有限量的，是完全不同的一种形式的心智模式。
So I'm wondering if we should stop here because it's already 11:15 our time.
Yeah, their time is also the same.
Yeah, I think I think we shouldn't go any further today. But that was a very tricky couple of paragraphs.
对，他说今天的还是也比较难的，这些的内容也是挺难懂的。呀，他说今天要不然就到这里，就因为你们的时间都11点了。
They say that somewhere in the book it says that that the Morontria world starts off exactly where your human life leaves off. I mean, not if you're senile or experiencing, physical diseases of old age or any, nothing like that. But as far as you're at your best, right? When you're thinking, let's say you're still thinking clearly and you're still functioning well. Well, when you go to the Morontria world, you're right in that. You don't skip any phases. You have a new body, a new mind, but you're still exactly who you were when you died. So and everyone who has a near-death experience, Jan can confirm this. You're not suddenly smarter and better and you're you. You're just you. And you have to, there's no skipping steps and there's no regressing. Like reincarnation often says you go back and you have to learn lessons and do terrible things. And then no, you're always moving forward, but one step at a time. You're not going to suddenly be a different person. All your the bad news is all your problems you're still going to have, but it'll be much easier and you'll have a lot of help working them out.
对，他就是强调生命阶段的一个连续性，你下个阶段就是相当于拾起你上一个阶段那个停下的那个点，他就是还是要从那儿开始。对，你不会落掉，就是要跨过那个，避免任何的阶段，你还是你死的时候那个那个你。当然他就是没有物质的疾病了嘛，你也不会突然就变得聪明了，或者变得更好了，但是呢，无论如何他是没有遗憾的，你只是继续往前。比较令人悲哀的一点是你的问题就还在，但是呢，你会得到更多的帮助来解决你这些问题，就是帮助你疗愈相当于。
You may have a greater capacity for spiritual understanding and for philosophical, it's like if you're given a better computer, you're still you, but you can do more now. Your functionality has improved. So I would say, because you'll have a Morontial mind and I would say you would definitely have enhanced ability to understand and to think clearly, and you won't have so many animal fears. I mean, there'll be some changes, but you're still going to be you, and you're still going to have to work through all your problems, all your issues, and get to the next level. But it will be faster and easier there to work out your earthly problems.
对，就是你的功能性啊，更好，就像你被给予了一个更高能的这个电脑一样，就是你就是提高了各方面能力都提高了，你也没有动物性的恐惧，然后你 来更高效的、更快的、更容易的解决你的问题。
So this, as far as the recording, you can keep recording, Ricky, but as far as listeners go, this is we're not reading anymore today in this session. We're going to stop here.
读书的部分就今天就读到这儿了。对。
But I was wondering if Yan would like to tell us about her near-death experience. I think maybe a lot of people would like to hear about it.
燕，你还醒着吗？他就问说你想不想再继续说一说你的濒死体验啦，或者什么感触啊，什么随便你来发表。
啊，我还醒着呢，就是中间确实有点犯困了，那个，但是我还是想表达几句，因为时间太晚了。因为我今天我非常感谢Heidi 还有大家，还有琪琪发起的这个，当然我是这么认为的，琪琪发起这个读书会，而且我非常就是我今天突然觉得，这就是好像背后它是有个引领我和你们相遇进入这样子，就是这根本不是我安排的，就是它好像是推动着我和大家相遇。然后，我就是听着很感兴趣啊，听着很感兴趣，但中间是因为有些东西它有点混淆，可能是因为我没有之前的这种铺垫。但是呢，我非常感谢啊，非常感谢Heidi她的这个奉献，我就想表达这些，因为时间关系啊，濒死经验那个今天就不说了，谢谢。好。
Yeah, just expressed how grateful that she has opportunity to get into this study group, and also appreciate Heidi to provide.
Oh, God bless you. Yeah, we're honored to have her with us.
She felt like there is kind of a force behind her that kind of push her toward getting into this group. So
tell her that most people, almost everyone who has a near-death experience becomes more spiritual and more driven towards God and towards truth and towards a more spiritual life afterwards. Almost everyone.
他说让我告诉你，几乎每一个有濒死体验的人哈，他们都被这个好像推动着去认识神啊，认识真理，走上这条路，几乎每一个人都是这样子的。
Sometimes it takes years to manifest because people have their habits and their fears and their patterns, and sometimes people resist it, but it's always there, and eventually it almost always manifests.
有的时候呢，不是马上，也许好几年才会显化，然后或者这个人本身他也许有抗拒，但是最终来讲，他都会走上这条路。
So just tell her I'm so glad that that she found us and that she's here and she is so welcome, and thank you for the kind words.
他就是那个，对，就是说那个。谢谢你的这么仁慈的话语，你表达感谢的话语，他也非常的感谢，非常的感动，希望继续跟我们一起探索。
And I'm sorry for speaking over you, Ricky.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry for speaking over you, Ricky. I interrupted.
No, you're not. Yeah. Thank you.
So Yan, will you tell us about your near-death experience?
No, yeah, she also said before that it's too late. So
okay, great. Okay,
talk about that. We still have more time. We have
we have anytime. I'd love to hear. I've never told anyone about mine either, but it's a long story, so we have to save that for the right time.
对，他说他也没有很仔细的，就是回顾他的濒死体验。我们以后就是合适的时候还有机会再展开来讲。Okay.
Oh, tell her she should listen to Yan should listen to that song because that was like, it was given to the guy in a dream, but his dream was very much like a near-death experience.
对，他就说让我跟你分享，就是上一次他跟我们分享的那首就是那个音乐家在梦当中就是被启示，天使给他的启示的那首歌，他让我跟你分享那首歌。对，好像在群里曾经分享过，我到时候再发给你一遍。
And I also want to say hello to Eric, who's always listening to our recordings, and to anyone else who's listening to these recordings. I just want you to know that we appreciate you. You're welcome here. You can send in questions to the chat group if you have access to it, or under the videos if we ever post them, we'll have comment section. Eventually all these will be posted with comment section, and you're all very welcome here, and thanks for coming.
同时他也感谢就是听录音的听回放的朋友，那么就是可以在微信群啊，或者是有关那个下面的评论区啊，然后提出你们的问题，然后对这个我们非常感谢大家的收听。
And we may be talking to some people who haven't even been born yet.
他说也有可能我们是跟那些还没有出生的人讲话，因为这本书它是给未来的世代的那个书嘛，他是说有可能因为这个资料留下来之后，有可能是还没有出生的人也是我们的听众。
I hope the earth is in better shape for you than it was for us.
对，那个时候也许地球已经变成了比现在更好的一个生活的地方。Yeah, possibly. Maybe on some aspect, maybe.
No, it will be much better. We're entering a huge awakening right now. Amazing things are going to happen in the next 20 years. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm sure of it. I guess you can turn off the recording now.
Yeah. 就说这个现在地球进入一个大觉醒的时代，未来的20年会发生很多的事情，对，一定将来是变成更好的地方。OK。